Nora is the protagonist in the world of Underwater, the film. And she is sort of caught unawares in the beginning of the movie brushing her teeth. She's a blue collar girl. She's a she's a mechanical engineer, and she's working on the bottom of the ocean on an oil rig, and suddenly it explodes. She's in her pajamas. She doesn't know the people that have also survived, nor does she know herself very well at the beginning of the film. She's somebody who is a little bit remote. She's somebody who's like sort of in the midst of a grieving process that you'll come to find more about as the movie progresses. But in the beginning, it really is just about a woman amongst a group of people getting to know what it's like to try and preserve your physicality. I mean, like, we all have a survival instinct, but it's very rare to be thrust into a scenario so sort of wrought. No, I remember I had like one day of stunt training for a few pulls on a wire that we had to do where I was exploded and I have to sort of get like pulled back off a thing. And other than that, it was sort of just being present and a live human being in a suit that weighed 100 pounds, either underwater or trudging through a sort of sandy, dry trench. Every scenario was super physically stifled and either wet or freezing cold or very hot. Like, there was never anything that didn't feel very extreme. So the preparation was limited, and the actual moment to moment experience was what was like the goal to be captured, you know, like. They're all really good people. To be honest, everyone was like really excited to get into this because of those physical difficulties, and the whole thing was like, actors don't necessarily want to fake it, even though acting sort of implies this pretend thing. Everyone wants to get as close to the experience as they possibly can, and we worked long hours, and long hours on a normal movie is kind of still hard, but fine. But on a movie like this, to do that for that long and kind of look over and have a couple of sets of eyes that are always the same ones looking lifeless back at you helps a lot. And yeah, I mean, like, Vincent's like kind of the epitome of like tougher than nails, alpha Frenchman, sort of like, what's wrong? Everything's fine. And then TJ's like, kill me now, I'm gonna die, and he kind of makes light of the thing. And then Jessica's like it's nice to have a girl around being like, this is awful. And then John's like a really smart, sweet teddy bear. It was all like, I had the best group of people around me to be in such a horrific scenario. Well, he was very sympathetic the entire time. I have to say that is one thing, that he was not sort of expectant of his actors to do things that were gruesome. He was always like, no, I get it. It's not like easy to mine for emotional beats while, I don't know, I think a lot of times directors are like, I'm a director, you're an actor, do your job. And he was just more of an accompaniment. We none of us had to do anything alone. And he also made the movie possible. I mean, our budget is relatively reduced in terms of what we accomplish in the film. Making a movie that is entirely submerged is not an easy thing, and he was the one that came up with all of the sort of ways in which that was possible. And as such a young man, I think that was like really impressive. And yeah. I wanted to have somebody who in the beginning was kind of inaccessible and remote. And, throughout the beginning of the movie, you realize that, or the first half is that, she is in the midst of a grieving process, and that her sort of tough exterior was really this self-protection that gave way to something really precious. And once things actually became really real, that her faithfulness to other human beings was actually really sturdy, even though she seemed like somebody who didn't want to engage. And so she was actually the one who in the beginning maybe seems like hard to get at, but is going to be the one to theoretically take a bullet for you. Like, she's going to be the one that comes through and kind of lays it all out. And so I thought that I thought that to make sure that that transgression happened, that sort of journey to that moment of sort of self-reveal and self-sacrifice was earned